When you filter a pivot table, Excel indicates that a field's filtered by placing filter icons in the body of the pivot table and in the pivot table field list. Unfortunately, those icons are small and hard to see and give no indication which values are included or excluded from the filter. In Excel, you can filter your pivot tables by using slicers, which graphically indicate which values are included and excluded by a filter. I'll demonstrate how to create slicers in this movie. My sample file is slicers 0306, and you can find it in the Chapter 3 folder of your exercise files collection. I love slicers. They are visual and allow you to indicate as part of a presentation which values are in or out of a data set at a particular time. I have a fairly simple pivot table layout, just categories and total sales. Let's say that I want to filter by category using a slicer. To do that, I'll click any cell within the pivot table, and then on the Analyze contextual tab of the ribbon, I'll go to the Filter group and click Insert Slicer. The Insert Slicers dialog box appears, and I can select the field by which I want to filter. And in this case, I will make it category. Let's see, there it is. So I will check that and then click OK. And I get my slicer. My slicer is connected directly to the pivot table. Right now, everything is selected, but let's say I only want to see values for landscape lighting. I'll click that, and you see that we're down to just landscape lighting. If I want to select multiple values, I have a number of ways to do it. The most straightforward is to click the multi-select button here, so I'll click that, and that allows me to select more than one value at a time without using the Shift key or the Control key. So right now I have landscape lighting. Let's say that I also click light bulbs. There I have those two, and I'll add batteries. If I want to turn off multi-select, I can just click the button again, and then click, say, Download a Wind Harvester, and that's the only field that would be displayed. If I do want to select multiple fields, I can hold down the Control key, for example. So I have Wind Harvester selected, I'll hold down the Control key and click Batteries. So now I have those two. If I wanted to select multiple values, for example, I'll click Grid Tie Inverters, and I want to select Grid Tie Inverters all the way down to light bulbs. Then with Grid Tie Inverters selected, I can hold down the Shift key, click light bulbs, and the entire range from Grid Tie Inverters to light bulbs has been selected. To clear a slicer filter, I can click the Clear Filter button on the slicer's title bar, and the filter is removed. You can create multiple slicers if you want, so I'll click within the pivot table, go back to Analyze, and click Insert Slicer. And this time, let's say that I will bring it down to Quantity, and click OK. And what this does is give me a second slicer, and you can see that the quantities go anywhere from 1 to 18. So let's take a look at how much money we made in each category with quantity orders of 1. I am assuming, for the sake of this demonstration, that there is only one item per order. So let's say I want to see how much I made from my different categories with orders of quantity 1. To do that, in the quantity slicer, I'll just click 1, and it's filtered down. So you can see that for folks who ordered only one item, I have $5,201 from batteries, $56.17 from landscape lighting, and so on. If I want to see how much I made from orders with quantities from 1 to 5, I can, with 1 selected, hold down the Shift key, click 5, and there I see that total. One thing to note is that the field that I use to create a slicer doesn't have to be displayed within the pivot table at the moment. Instead, I can filter using it separately. If I want to delete a slicer, I can right-click its title bar, and then click Remove, and then the slicer's name. In this case, that's Quantity. Note that getting rid of the slicer also removes its filter, and I can do the same thing for Category. Right-click its title bar, click Remove Category, and we're done. Filtering your pivot tables using slicers helps you and your audience visualize which values are included or excluded from a filter. Slicers work best for filtering fields with 20 or fewer unique values, especially if your pivot table takes up more than half of the screen after you apply the filter.